Most portfolios that look diversified are actually one giant bet on the same story. Low rates, US stock market dominance, and tech working forever. If that story breaks, everything in your account bleeds together. In this video, I'm going to show you how to tell if your portfolio is generally diversified or just wearing 3 different costumes, and how I structure my own thinking so that something is usually working even when the regime is changing. We will hit 3 things. First, why small parameter tweaks are fake diversification. Second, how deploying one logic across multiple markets finds returns you cannot predict in advance. Third, how to actually measure whether your strategies are working together or falling together when it matters most. My name is Mark Anderson, construction worker turned 0DT and multi-strategy hedge fund manager of MBH Capital Management. I have sold over $100 million in 0DT premium, and today I run a 0DT and multi-strategy hedge fund. None of this is investment advice, but it is how I think about risk. Let's get into it. If you have 3 backtests that all look great, this is usually where the hidden risk starts. Here's the pattern I constantly see. A trader builds a strategy, it works in backtesting, they're excited, so they build a second version. Same core logic, just slightly different moving averages, maybe they tweak a length and add an RSI filter. The third version, maybe one different time frame, now they're just running 3 strategies and it feels diversified. 3 equity curves, 3 sets of trades, 3 allocations, it looks sophisticated. But it's not 3 strategies. It's 1 strategy and 3 costumes. Think of a hiring committee. If you put 3 people from the same department, same background, same trading in a room and ask them to evaluate a candidate, you are not getting 3 independent opinions. You're getting 1 opinion repeated 3 times. What you actually want is someone from engineering, someone from finance, and someone from operations. Different lenses on the same problem. This is the difference between parameter diversification and logic diversification. One gives you the illusion of safety, the other actually provides it. Everything is a trade-off. A single well-tuned strategy can absolutely have strong returns in the right environment. But a portfolio built on logic, diversification of trades, peaks performance in one regime for resilience across many regimes. And for most investors, especially if you cannot watch screens all day, resilience is worth much more than the occasional perfection. Ray Dalio calls this the holy grail of investing. Assemble multiple uncorrelated return streams that you fundamentally change the math. You keep roughly the same expected return, but you can cut the risk dramatically. The key word there is uncorrelated. If your strategies all share the same logic, they share the same blind spots. Shared blind spots are what causes drawdowns that feel like they will never end. So here's the principle. Before you add a new strategy to your portfolio, ask one question. Does this strategy think about the market differently than everything else I'm running? If the answer is no, you are adding exposure, not diversification, which raises the next question. What does thinking differently actually look like in practice? The simplest framework I can give you is this. Your strategies should argue with each other. By that, I mean they should fundamentally have different assumptions about how markets behave. Here's the most basic version. A trend following strategy assumes that the market in motion tends to stay in motion. When something is going up, you will ride it. When it's breaking down, you will short it. This works beautifully in directional markets with strong momentum. It gets chopped to pieces in sideways and ranging markets. A mean reversion strategy assumes the opposite markets overshoot and then retrace. When something drops hard, you buy the dip. When it spikes, you fade it. This thrives in the exact conditions when trend following struggles. Low volatility, range bound, reverting price action. Now here's where the elegance shows up. In any given month across my fund, some of the 12 plus strategies are losing. This is not a bug. That is the design goal. I never know ahead of time which ones will lose, but the strategies that are winning usually cover those losses and then some. That is what smooths out the equity curve. That is what keeps drawdowns emotionally survivable. The goal is simple. You want a portfolio where something is usually working so you're not forced to tap out during a brutal drawdown. It is like running a restaurant that serves both hot soup and cold salads. You do not know what the weather will be like next week, but whatever happens, there's something on your menu people will want. Let's push some numbers on this. Correlations run from +1 to -1. +1 means perfect lockstep. When one wins, the other wins. When one loses, the other loses. 0 means that they are independent. The move of one asset are not described by the move of the other. -1 means they move in perfect opposition. If you're running 3 strategies that all have 0.8 correlation to each other, you have not reduced your risk by adding 2 more strategies. You have roughly tripled your exposure to the same bet. You have concentrated, not diversified. What you want is strategies that sit well below 0.5 correlation to each other. Ideally, some near 0, and if you can find negative correlations, even better. Truly negative correlations are rare because global markets are so interconnected, but low is still very valuable. Here's a practical starting framework. Think of 3 buckets. 1, directional strategies. These are trend following and they have different speeds. A short-term momentum system and a longer-term trend system will behave differently even though the philosophy is similar. Short-term systems can respond to noise and capture fast moves. Long-term systems ignore noise and ride the big waves. 2, counter-directional. These strategies are mean reversion. Again, short-term and long-term versions will have different profiles because mean reversion looks different over intraday versus multi-week horizons. 3, directionally agnostic strategies. These don't care where the market moves. That might be pairs trading, some relative value structures, or other spread-based approaches. The trade-off here is complexity. One strategy is simple to manage. 6 strategies across 3 logic types is much more work to build, test, maintain, and implement. There's no way around that, but the payoff is a portfolio that does not live or die by one market regime. That is especially valuable if you cannot sit through 2-year drawdowns waiting for your one favorite regime to come back. Now let's add a second axis most traders completely ignore. Here's something that might surprise you. Looking back at 2024, one of the strongest contributors to my return was not the market I would have picked in January. It was commodities, specifically metals. Could have I predicted this at the start of the year? No, and that is exactly the point. The largest systematic funds in the world do not trade one market. They trade dozens, not because they predict which market will trend next, but precisely because they cannot. They position themselves broadly, so when a trend appears somewhere, they are already there to participate. Think of it like fishing. One can sit on the dock with one pole and hope the fish come to you, or you can set nets across the entire lake. You do not know which part of the lake will have fish tomorrow, but it matters much less when you have coverage. For retail and semi-institutional investors, there's a practical version of this. Take a trend-following strategy that works on equity indexes. Now test that same core logic on crypto, then on commodity futures. You are not reinventing the strategy, you are putting it in more places to find opportunity. Now an important caveat. Different markets have different microstructures. Crypto trades 24/7 with very different volatility from equity futures, and that trade on a set schedule. You may need to adjust parameters slightly, not the core idea, but the tuning to the account, volatility, and liquidity, a solid, simple trend following should generally translate to markets, but expecting the exact same setting to be optimal everywhere is unrealistic. The trade-off here is infrastructure. Every new market you add requires learning how the market trades, setting up execution and risk controls, understanding fees, margin, and slippage. It's not free, but what you gain is huge. You are no longer betting that one specific market will perform. You are betting that somewhere in the world, a trend will exist. Historically, that has been a much safer bet. This brings us to the last piece. How do you know if all the diversification is actually working, especially when the stress hits? You can build the most thoughtful portfolio in the world and still get blindsided if you are not measuring correlation when it hurts. On a normal Tuesday, your strategy might show 0.2 correlation to each other. Low, independent, looks great on paper. Then a stress event hits. Tariff headlines, a banking issue, a volatility shock, suddenly an 0.2 correlation jumps to 0.8. Everything is losing together. The diversification you thought you had evaporated right when you needed it the most. You saw this in 2008 and 2020. Portfolios that you thought were diversified across assets suddenly traded like one position when everyone ran for the exit at once. This is correlation breakdown, and it is one of the most dangerous dynamics in portfolio management. It is like having insurance that works perfectly right up until you need it the most. So what do? You measure correlation not on average, but inside drawdowns and high volatility windows. If two strategies show low correlation, but high correlation and stress, they're not giving you the diversification you think. They're both tied to the same emergency exit. In my portfolio, I regularly review the full correlation matrix across strategies. And I will be candid. There are pockets where correlations are higher than I would like. This is not one setup. It is an ongoing process. Build, measure, adjust, repeat. The trade-off with serious correlation management is that you will sometimes remove individually profitable strategies because they are too highly correlated with something else. That feels wrong at first, but the math is clear. A portfolio of moderately profitable, uncorrelated strategies usually beats a portfolio of highly profitable but tightly correlated ones over time. You are optimizing the portfolio, not a single item. So why do portfolios that look diversified still blow up? Because diversification is not about how many strategies you run. It's about how different those strategies think and how they behave during stress. Here's what I want you to remember. 1. Diversify by logic, not parameter. Different moving average lengths on the same idea is costume change in diversification. You need strategies built on fundamentally different market assumptions. 2. Diversify by market. Do not bet your future on one market performing. Position logic so it can capture opportunity wherever it appears. Equities, crypto, commodities, futures, whatever fits your mandate and your risk profile. 3. Measure correlation under stress, not just in calm periods. Low average correlation does not protect you. If it spikes when volatility hits, test your portfolio inside drawdowns, not just on quiet periods. 4. Accept the diminishing returns. The biggest gains from diversification from strategies comes from 2 through 8. After that, each additional helps less. Start with 2 to 4 genuinely different strategies and build slowly. 5. Embrace the trade-off. A diversified portfolio sacrifices peak performance in one regime for resilience across many. For most investors with real lives and responsibilities, this is the right trade. If you're a professional with real responsibilities and you cannot sit in front of screens all day, your main risk is not missing the next trade. Your real risk is waking up one day and realizing your diversified portfolio was just one crowded bet. My goal with these videos is simple. Help thoughtful investors see the mechanics behind the market more clearly so you can ask better questions of whoever is managing your money, including yourself. So tell me in the comments, what's the biggest challenge you have faced trying to diversify your portfolio? Is it finding uncorrelated strategies? Is it the infrastructure to trade multiple markets? Is it the emotional side of watching strategies lose while others win? I read every comment, and your questions shape what we cover next. If you're not subscribed, hit the like button and subscribe below. We're going deeper on multi-strategy portfolio construction and risk in upcoming episodes. I'll see you guys in the next one.